All right, we ready?
Yeehaw.
Yes.
Hello, lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today we're talking about the Crimson Reaper Vladimir, who was released July 27th, 2010. So close to my birthday still.
So close.
I still don't have one.
One of these days.
No. You know what? A lot of like near hits, like it's good enough,
not the
right?
same.
It's like
This is somebody's birthday, though, John. Do you know whose?
July 27th?
Yeah.
Could be anyone's.
It's our daughter's.
I didn't. I'll be honest, I did not know.
Oh, no, it's okay. I don't know Alora's birthday by the date either. I only know yours because it's the same as John's. So.
Yeah,
Sarah's?
Sarah's?
It's the same as yours.
No, I don't remember Sarah's by the date either. October.
Yeah, that's good
It's
enough.
probably on my calendar in my phone, but that's all I got.
Just send some
Mark,
some gift in October.
the red wine in the glass. Why didn't I do that? I'm drinking red wine even.
I know.
This is
Alright,
not
I'm
red wine. This is
fucking-
Campari.
I'm
and,
going to get cool
something
glasses
else.
for us to
Alright,
drink
yeah,
red
yeah,
wine.
I
out
guess
of. I
some-
have
get
to.
some-
Talk about your orange sweater while I'm gone.
Oh,
Yeah, I was curious. Like, is it really
hate
cold where you're
so
at?
much.
she really does
His
hate
brother-in-law gave this to him. He's like, it's too orange for me. And I was like, so you're putting it in my house?
It's too orange.
And it's worse than what it looks like on camera.
Is it
like,
so that
you guys
Sherpas will
don't
find
know.
you when you get stuck on the peak?
That is
Like-
what it looks like. Imagine a traffic cone, but like a brand new one. It's never seen the light of day. And that's what John looks like right now.
And I'm warm
virginal
and I'm
traffic cone.
comfortable. It's soft on the inside. I won't get hit by cars when I go walking around at night. I won't get accidentally
true.
shot if I go into
was gonna say
hunting
you get
grounds.
It's true.
It's an all-purpose sweatshirt, really. Also, I feel like Glenn gave it to me and was like, "Yeah, it's too bright, a shade of orange." I was like, "All right, well, I mean, give it to me for like a week, and I'll give it back to you a fucking shade that you have never seen in your life." And true to
Big
form,
crafting.
I spilled on it immediately.
Like, as you said that, you're like, watch this. Oh, man. Jeez. Well, you know what? Who gives a fuck, right? If you like it, if it's comfortable, if it's
Okay,
warm.
no problem.
I wear all sorts of horrible clothing.
We don't have plain... Oh, sorry. Were you talking?
Yeah, but
We
it
don't
doesn't
have
matter.
plain
Don't
wine
worry about
glasses
it.
anymore. I've broken them all at this point.
So what do you have?
But here's this one with orange leaves to match your shirt. And then
If
mine
you
has
hold it in front of yourself, you can't even see
butterflies.
the leaves, really.
Mine has butterflies on them.
Very nice.
They were all from the dollar store, I think, like the plain ones. So I'll get more one day. There we go.
Yes.
Perfect. Yes.
Blood.
Yeah.
Hemomancy. Does he drink the blood? I don't even know.
No,
Right?
he just
No, not
absorbs
really.
the life force.
But he
through
likes
it.
to make a lot of puns about it.
Yeah, it's like throughout his body. He's like, he thirsted for this. And I'm like, I don't think he's thirsting at all.
No, he gets thirsty. I mean, he still drinks water. I don't
That's
know.
fair.
Or does
I
he?
guess.
Who knows?
Oh.
I mean, does he have to? Who knows?
Maybe he
don't.
does it for fun.
They leave that out in his bio.
They leave a lot out.
Thank
Anyway. What does he sound like? I really hadn't listened to him ever. I've only played him a few times, and I never really heard his voice. So I was surprised by how pompous he is, I guess. All right. But I'll go first. John, we weren't allowed to look at the quotes. John has a game coming
That's
up
true.
later.
Yeah, we were.
I can't even
forbidden.
guess what the game is because I have no idea what Vladimir's quotes are. So, but anyway.
I'll give you a hint.
Huh?
It's, I think, the first repeat game we've had.
Oh, is it more emo lyrics?
Well, I can't tell you.
Oh.
Okay, that's okay. I'm trying to
April
think.
Ludgate again? Vladimir or April Ludgate?
I don't remember his quotes. You got me curious now.
Okay. I'm absolutely livid.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I like
Thank
that.
you.
He's very breathy. Sort of like, the rivers will run red.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it was good. He really hits the R's, though, on those. The rivers will run red.
That's why that's what sticks in my head.
Right?
Yeah,
It's the way
it's
he
like, calm down.
emphasizes.
Red. Yeah.
The rivers will run red.
It's like an elocution lesson.
She sold she shells.
She shows. Yeah, he fucked it up.
Fuck. I'd never make it as Vladimir.
Well, on the reverse page, he has a bio, 2 short stories,
Wait, what
and... Huh?
Is that John's impression?
Yeah,
Right there?
didn't you just do it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, I also did the Rivers Will. I had those 2 quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
I didn't-
He doesn't want to give away...
He doesn't have a lot of
I didn't think he had a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark apparently knows one other, so I'm curious if that'll be in your game.
Oh shit, probably.
I'll give
We'll
it
see.
to myself. Anyway, bio, 2 short stories, and The Roots of Ruin is linked on there.
Hopefully, hopefully Mark will be able to regale us with one more.
Oh.
He
got
has
a...
the Realms of Runeterra story, but we couldn't read it. 'Cause we don't have
Oh,
the book.
yes. Okay, my bad. Yeah. I forgot about it. I forgot about it because it's... Well, we can talk about it when we get to it.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry. I you really spooked me for a second there.
I know, you
The
really
book's
look
right there.
scared.
It's like... Okay. No worries.
We're also just coming off on the news, by the way, about the MMO. Did you hear anything? Did you hear all of that, Mark?
Yeah, I read the statement.
Yeah, it'll be...
It doesn't really surprise me, to be honest with you.
It doesn't...
It surprises me that they brought someone from EA in to do something revolutionary in the space of MMOs.
Well,
Also,
maybe.
what also surprised me was the statement that, like, you know, we know our players. We know that they don't just want an MMO, you know, with a coat of Runeterra paint slapped over it. And I was like, no, that's exactly what I fucking
Yeah,
want.
it's fine.
To the T, that's what I wanted. Thank you very much. I wanted WoW, but in Runeterra.
I'll take the optimistic approach. Maybe maybe that person's not at EA anymore because they want to do something that's better. Right, revolutionary. I'll take that approach. There's a reason they're not an active EA.
The problem is now we need to think of a few more years of content before this game comes out.
I think they were also
MMO
the
Watch.
executive director on Andromeda.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't play that, so I have no idea.
The combat system, the core combat system is actually pretty good in Andromeda.
As long as we can just adapt that, we're good.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you Andromeda was like a good release or anything. So
I really love the Mass Effect series and didn't feel the need to play it. So that was, anyway,
I just got the Legendary Edition, by the way. I was modding it while we were setting up.
Just for funsies, you were like, I want to play through Andromeda again, even though I don't like it.
No, for the collection, the 1 through 3, the originals. Anyway,
they're so fucking good. Is the thing. Yeah. Anyway, Vlad. Vlad was a normal prince in Camivore? Doesn't say, for some reason, in his bio. His bio is obscenely long, but at no point do they actually just say Camivore. We only know it was because Roots of Ruin is linked on his shit, and he is apparently Viego's distant uncle. But he did start out as a prince in Camivore. Anyway.
But, you know, one of those shitty princes.
Yeah. No one gave a shit about him. They had a bunch of them. They didn't care about him. Anyway, his bio begins with him, like, being very old and all kinds of legends where he's shown up and things he's done. And Vladimir's body is immortal, but he's apparently got, like, an old man brain because he can't remember his life either.
Or is it Vladimir less?
I don't get it.
You call him Vladimir.
Vladimir.
Did I say Vladimir? Sorry.
Vlad 4 score and 7.
I'm gonna call him Vlad from now on. Vlad is what I wrote. I think throughout the rest.
I wrote Vladimir. Let me tell you, that's a hard fucking word to spell over and over again.
Forgetting it's 2 I's.
Interesting.
I keep forgetting it's Vladimir. I kept wanting to do like Vladimir.
Vladimir.
Also,
Vladimir.
like,
okay.
Yeah,
I'm a pretty fast typer.
you are.
I cannot type his name fast. I like slow down every time. I'm like, the letters for some reason are in such an awkward fucking position for typing. It was weird.
Yeah, it kind of is. I'm like practicing it on my little keyboard right now. Oh, that is kind of awkward. Yeah.
Should just call him Vlad. Anyway, Vlad can't remember his fucking life ever. You know what? I actually really liked this detail, and I found it very, very valid. You know, like, you've been alive for a long time, and you think of the past, and, like, it's just really fucking fuzzy. To the point where we'll get into it, but he has, like, people paint him in different times of life because he doesn't remember who he was anymore. Like, once enough times pass, which is really cool.
I like that.
I know. I'll look back.
Detail.
I feel bad, like, when I think back on, like, the day Poppy was born, and it's really fuzzy. Like, I feel like I should have a stronger memory of this. I mean, I remember, but, you know.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I feel bad when people reference a joke we made in the previous episode, and I'm like, I have no recollection of that.
Literally none. But a lot of people who do podcasts will say that. They're like, I have no clue what we talked about. It's just like a haze.
Right. He's been doing it for a while. Plus, we're drinking a lot during it. That doesn't help. So anyway. Pounding down bottles. Yeah.
Vlad was a prince in the time of the Darken Wars. He was traded to the Darken as a hostage. Like we said, his dad, the king, had a lot of heirs, and he was like, yeah, just take this guy. We won't betray you.
This one sucks.
Because if you do, we'll kill him. And then he immediately betrayed the Darken. They seem to have a lot of humans among them, though, but Vlad thought he was better than everyone, and I guess the Darken agreed because they let him study the Darken magic. Eventually, they allowed him on a war host that was practicing hemomancy, I think is what it sounds like was happening. Vladimir's master, who isn't given a name, do we know who it is? He's like a Darken master.
It sounded a little bit like Rost. I don't know how many other people have, like, a weapon that's described as a deadly-looking scythe.
Okay.
Well, I thought that was Vlad who had the scythe in that painting, right?
But maybe
it's depicting him.
I mean, that is the thing, because it said that he did end up killing his master, and we know that Rost isn't dead, so...
Yeah. But you know what? Who knows what that means? Like, did he actually kill a Darken proper? Did he kill, like, a host?
Did he think he killed a Darken?
And now they're just, like, sealing their...
I like it.
Did he have the scythe for a little while and he doesn't even remember it because it was a million lifetimes ago?
I would love that, honestly. That'd be nice.
All right. Yeah. Well, the bio mentions, like, the Darken's demise and how it's all very mysterious, but there is a count of it in Shuriman, hidden in the Immortal Bastion. Vlad, though, did kill his Darken master himself. The quote they have here is, "Scarred, blinded, driven mad by the radiance of the Darken's undoing, he absorbed enough power to renew flesh that was never meant to last beyond a mortal lifespan. And he has done this countless times since, through rituals too vile to speak of." And I don't know, I think the Volibear summoning rituals are pretty bad. So, like, what are these rituals that they're like, we can't even talk about them?
And it's even more interesting because we see it happen in a cinematic.
In the cinematic.
And, like, it didn't seem that vile. It seemed kind of like vampire stuff.
Yeah, it seemed kind of like he just sucked everybody's smoke out. You know how when you cut yourself and the smoke pours out, you know?
I hate that. And then this weird pale guy comes and he's like like a fucking Dementor. All right, anyway.
They say, "Thanks, buddy," and you're all old and desiccated.
Anyway, during Mordekaiser's reign, Vlad hung out on the coastal cliffs of East Valoran. I don't know, asking for, like, virgins and telling people to worship him or something. That's kind of what he was doing. He was just like, bring me innocent lives to feast off of. I don't know what he does with them. I don't know. Is he just like the witches in Hocus Pocus? I feel like this point of his life, that's what he kind of was.
He was going through his Hocus Pocus phase.
He almost came off like a Vagar to me, where he just seemed to really like being revered as like a big evil overlord.
Yeah, but he actually was very quite evil.
That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He didn't let anyone into his home until a pale sorceress came.
Who knows who this is?
They drop her name like 2 paragraphs later.
In defense, yeah.
So I don't know why. But anyway, Vlad and LeBlanc hung out, had a super evil dinner that made the wine go bad and killed all the roses. That's what they say happened.
It's true.
And that's how they came up with the name Black Robes, I guess. They partnered up for a while, getting other powerful people to join them so they could control the politics of Noxus. Exciting stuff. It was all very boring to Vlad, too. I guess he was used to eating like young people and just being really evil outright. But he does like occasionally join Noxian courts and then leave again and then like come back when no one's remembered him, like when enough time has passed. His age and all of his dark evil powers were never discovered. Hemomancy did become like a thing in the army though, and they created something called the Crimson Circle, which sounds like a period support group that I could really use. But it is a cult, yet another champion with a cult that worships them. The Crimson Circle. Present day-ish, Vlad has returned to Noxus after Swain came to power. He's disguised as a benevolent socialite who just kind of like talks shit about the Triferics Council. He's just like hosting parties and being like, those fucking idiots.
Have I got some blood tea to spill?
Right. Well, Blanc isn't really happy about this, thinks that Vlad has come back too soon, and maybe Swain is catching on to Vlad's disguise a little bit. And that's kind of where we leave him. We know that Vlad likes to work alone. He's just kind of like, he likes to fuck up the political situation when it's changed, I guess, in Noxus, and that's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We also know from the cinematic, Swain definitely is on
Swain
to him.
definitely, yeah.
I would assume so.
Yeah, that's fine. That's within the realm of Swain's power, I suppose.
With a demon. Yeah, there's like a demon there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like, they don't really play with it in the stories, I feel like, but I do like the idea of Vlad being, like, you can't rein him in, and he almost like kind of like flirts with the idea of like, what if I just told everyone I'm a vampire? Whatever, they're all going to die anyway.
Literally, right? He watched Iron Man, and the end of it, when Tony Stark was like, I am Iron Man, he's like, oh, fuck, maybe I should just do that.
I am
Blanc's
Vladimir.
gonna hate it.
Yeah, we know. Wait, shit.
He's got to do it with his socialite disguise or whatever. It's confusing, because we did hit a story where people seem to know Vladimir and who he is. But then he also seems to have some kind of disguise? I don't know. Am I an idiot?
I assumed he didn't have a disguise. They're like, he just never needed to change his name because he was Vladimir until people didn't remember he was Vladimir anymore. And then he would come back and he's Vladimir again.
He never came. Like, don't people write these things down? There's no written records.
See, that's the thing about Runeterra. No one writes anything down except in the Freljord, and then fucking Lysandra will find you.
Sure. Funny enough, she's pulling the same con, or I guess that's maybe more old lore shit that she did. That's not. She doesn't do that currently. She did the same shit.
That ain't me, dog.
Right.
I don't know why I assumed he was changing his name and stuff like that. But
I mean, because that's what you would do if you were trying to like hide that you were a weird immortal
I guess that's
or
true.
whatever.
But we do live in
he
the
doesn't
age
give a
of
fuck.
technology. He is very
That's
much.
true.
He reminds me a lot of the vampires in What We Do in the Shadow, like so much. Like they also aren't really disguising what they do.
He's very Nandor when somebody questions
Very
his...
Nandor. I get a Nandor vibe for sure.
Now,
I mean,
this was the first one we've had in a while. So the quote here: Vladimir is among the oldest enigmas of Noxus.
Yeah.
He was present at the dawn of the Empire.
Another almost first breath of creation here.
Yeah, this is the dawn of creation, baby.
I like it. Well, I mean, I guess like it is fun, but I do like that of all the champions who are like, oh, they're between 8,900 and whatever years old, whatever. It's like we said earlier, they at least kind of play a little bit more with it with him not being able to actually remember that far back.
Yeah.
He's kind of still got a mortal mind. That's neat. That's a neat detail.
Yeah,
I think I liked
none
also.
of it bothers me. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine because you mentioned like it could be like some say this, some say that, but they are pretty. They're good in this one about like. Some legend says this, and it's pretty clear like this is what actually happened. There's not a lot of conflicting information. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just very. it's just a little flavor, I guess, for telling you the what, right?
Yeah,
Just
there was a point
preferable.
where it's like Vladimir's the only one who knows that he actually did kill the Darkened Master, but we also get to know that, which is nice.
Yeah, and it's like,
They're not like, only Vladimir knows what went down that day, and we never will either. You know?
Although I will say that is a little bit weird. Like, I have questions about that. Like,
Sure.
did they mean that the warband all attacked, but Vlad's the one who, like, last hit the Darkin? Or did Vlad 1v1 a Darkin?
You know, it's a good question. Who can say?
Those are very
right?
different. And
It
if he was
sounds
the one who
like-
struck the killing blow, and then there was such chaotic magics that he was blinded, it seems like some other people might know that he did it. But yeah, but I feel like the story's kind of implying the latter, though. It's kind of implying that he 1v1'd a little bit.
I was thinking, because it kind of mentioned first that how the Darkin fell is a little bit shaky, so I feel like, you know, they were fighting amongst themselves, and then there were people who were also taking down the Darkin, right? I feel like in the midst of that chaos, Vladimir was able to kill his master, kind of thing. That's
I'm
just
open to
kind of
that.
how I took it, and like, maybe he didn't necessarily 1v1 him, but maybe his master had, you know, been previously in a battle, was, you know, fighting amongst the other Darkin.
He had
and
one hit point.
Vlad was able to get in there and just kind of fuck him up.
Auto attacked him
I
once.
think that tracks, right? Yeah, I think that tracks, right? He's in a weakened state. You know, he had given Vlad some measure of power. Maybe he gave him a little too
That's
much.
true.
You know,
That's
like,
true. Yeah.
That was the other bit I liked. He said, believing himself above other mortal vassals, and therefore worthy of such power, Vladimir was the first of his kind permitted to study the terrifying magic. So, like, he just had to think he was better
I
than
know,
everyone
I was
else.
curious about
and then
that
the
one,
Darkin was
too.
like, oh, okay. Yeah, sure. This was like the biggest fake it till you make it.
Dress for the job you want, John. And right now you want to be a traffic cone.
I mean, you would kick ass at it. I will say. I would avoid all sorts of road hazards.
You need to be on that one road that people keep trying to go down that's basically a lake,
Right.
and just stand there.
Oh yeah,
like
dude.
this. Maybe you'll actually stop people from going down it. You won't. They'll try to go around you.
Let's see. So I liked it. Said the after we talked about the Black Rose a bit, which for the record, it had when they talked about their conversation, soured wine and killed the rose, like that had such big. That's the name of the movie. Energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really did. It literally said turn the roses from red to black, I think.
Do you think that happened? And like LeBlanc and Vladimir like looked at it and looked at each other, and at the same time were like, Black Rose.
That's kind of,
What
I
are we
gotta
gonna be
say, my it's the most edgelord shit, because my very first novel that I wrote when I was 19, it was called Black Rose, and it had very similar energy to that one.
That's fucking sweet.
So dumb. It was
Cool
so
as hell.
dumb.
That's
It was
fucking
not
hardcore.
Cool. I still have the old notebook though that I first took notes in for it, and I had printed out a picture of a black rose and taped it to the front of the notebook. Yeah, I
Nice.
still got
That's
that.
like
Fucking cool. Other question I had about Vlad. It said, for though the Darkin eventually fought amongst themselves and lost their immortal grip on the world, Vladimir knows he is strongest alone. So it seems weird that he would then choose to teach hemomancy to all the other regular folk in Noxus.
I mean, not all of them.
yeah. I think
Doesn't
this
seem
kind
like he
of
has a lot to gain from that.
I think this kind of this actually kind of tracks for him based on kind of some things he says in the Art is Life story, the one with the painter. Because like it's okay, so the Crimson Circle, right? They're really just Legends of Runeterra cards. They're just cards so that Vladimir can have a deck to play with. But the way they come off a little bit in Runeterra is like they're still just regular mortals who know hemomancy, and they come off like sort of like bored, like early 20s young adults who are all fucking each other, and they're just kind of like, this is all
I
like
would've
kind of.
for sure joined something called the Crimson Circle
Right.
in my early 20s.
And is Katarina's special friend from the Crimson Circle? Do we know? I mean, she knows hemomancy. I don't know how many other people know hemomancy outside the Crimson
I don't know,
Circle.
but it would kind of feel they're a lot
She
more.
does
like,
look like a 20-something who likes to fuck. So
Something
I
like
mean, that was
that.
the
They're a lot
vibe
more
I
like-
got.
Yeah, they're a lot like I don't know. I'm trying to look for like the right word to describe this group. The way they come up, like the way they come off in the game, and the way that like he interacts with them. It all kind of leads me to think that like he did it in the same way that his master did, where it was like, well, this will be fun. Let's just give them a little power. Let's just see what these goofs come up with, and then I'll kill them all later. It don't matter, right? He's just like he's kind of toying with them. It's just like whatever. I'll let these little kids kind of play around with some hemomancy, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah,
like,
kind of see what they can do with it. Yeah, that is
for
very
the
much
meme
what
of it.
like how the Darken approached. Like the
Yeah,
humans
and I
learning
like that.
hemomancy.
I wish that the Crimson Circle got more like had anything else outside of Runeterra, because they're not like you said they're a cult, but I found them to be more like a social club almost. Like they don't worship him.
The bio used the word cult. I'll say.
Yeah. I think I should meant to say like the bio. I think they describe it kind of. That's not how it's depicted, and I think that's more interesting. That they're just these kind of like
it's a
pompous
sewing
sort of
circle.
yeah.
But they're really bad at it. They prick their fingers a lot.
And they all drink red wine while they're doing it. Talk about their, spouses bothering them that day.
Jeez, they're so catty.
Vlad would fit right in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so LeBlanc.
In old lore, he had a bit more. They didn't, I don't think, call him the Crimson Circle, but same kind of idea.
Did he really? I only read the. I don't know. I read the bio and I read the judgment. I don't remember there being like a group.
It wasn't in his bit. I think it was actually
in the JOJ or
in Galio's old stuff potentially.
Oh, jeez, gosh, I missed some of that.
So okay, this was weird old lore. It was after Galio rework, before new Vlad lore.
Okay,
it was in
that's weird.
In that time frame where Vladimir was leading the hemomancers that attacked when Galio was seen for the first time.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I guess, yeah, I don't know. When we talk about when we get to old lore, he was a lot more of a murder for hire kind of guy in the old lore. At least that's the way the bio I read had him that way. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I read a different one, so now I'm excited.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I guess, I think that the old one I'm thinking of is... Anyway, we'll talk about it when we get to old lore. We're still in the bio, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have much else for the bio. It's a lot of the what. I think it's kind of a shame that, the artist's life story talks about a lot of this, too. Because, it feels kind of like a retread when I read that one. I do like that story, but...
Hey, I did like Artist's Life a lot.
Well, that's all I have for the bio.
For the record, this bio is written by Blood Magics. This bio was the result of a lore competition, I think around 2018 or something like that. And the winner got to write a champion bio.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Damn.
I would have for sure signed up for that.
So, yeah,
which champion would you do?
Congrats, Blood Magics.
Yeah, congrats. That's,
I don't know what I would do. I imagine they give you a list of people to choose from.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
They're always way more restrictive with their prizes than they seem at first.
Yeah, still though, that's pretty impressive and a great name for it.
Right? Yeah. They were born for this. I assume that's their Christian name.
It is now. They changed it legally.
All right, you want to get into Alone, I guess?
Mm-hmm. Ian St. Martin.
By Ian St. Martin, yeah. So this is told from the perspective of a Noxian orphan girl, and she is at an orphanage. She's a recent addition there. She had been on the streets before, and in the middle of the night, the headmistress comes and tells her, "Hey, you got to come do this thing. A patron is coming to, he needs y'all for something," and she doesn't want to get kicked out, so she comes along with it. And there's her and a couple other orphans, like a couple of brothers and a trio who are all kind of together, and Vladimir shows up and he's sort of going along the row of orphans and he's like, not these, this one, our prospective character.
I want someone with red curly hair.
Daddy Vlad bucks.
Daddy Vlad sucks.
Daddy Warblood. Oh shit.
Oh my god.
I like yours better.
They're all pretty good.
Yeah. I would take that skin and name it any of those. It would be great. Yeah. Anyway.
Fuck, I completely left. Oh, okay. So they she gets led to a room. She gets led to a room with one door and a chair and nothing else in it. Kids, if you ever get presented with a room with one door and a chair in it, don't go in it.
Get the fuck out.
But the headmistress is like, don't worry about it. You won't get harmed. It's an honor. Whatever the fuck, for what it's worth. And our little alone orphan goes in and she hears Vladimir talking, but she can't see him. And then he kind of coalesces out of the shadow and he's asking her to tell him about her backstory, essentially. Do you have anyone happen? And she explains that her dad had died in the war. Their mother went missing and her, I think her little sister or little brother, I don't remember, got sick and had died. And so she was alone, fully alone. And Vladimir tells her to kind of embrace that feeling and really just let it kind of wash over her. And as she does, she starts crying and she feels some glass pressed to her cheeks and sees that Vladimir is collecting her tears. And that's all he really needs. He takes the orphan tears, which is an awkward thing to explain to a cop when you get pulled over.
Drugs, no. These are the tears of orphans, obviously.
This is orphan tears.
It's perfectly legally acquired.
Yeah.
Cop tastes it.
I'm on the level, officer.
Yeah, it's tears.
And
just runs it on his gums.
And when he leaves, the headmistress is like, oh, is she unharmed? And Vladimir's, yeah, of course. Were you harmed when you were in the room? And I took your tears, I guess, or something. I don't know what he took.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, he turns and he goes inside a fountain. He pops back out of another fountain, which are, I guess, both spewing blood. When he kind of touches it and it turns to blood, and he teleports between fountains, and he goes back to his room, his mansion or whatever, I don't know, his room. He's got paintings and he's working on a painting of some unnamed figure with a regal air and chestnut curls and stuff, and he can't remember who this person is, but he knows that there's some connection there, and he uses the orphan tears to paint the whites of this person's eyes so that they'll kind of have sadness in them forever. I don't know. He's real method like that.
I don't think that's how it works.
He has no idea how lucky he is to have forgotten Viego. What I would give.
Yeah, it's Viego.
Can I learn hemomancy so I can also forget Viego?
Dude, can I say, I don't give a crap about him being related to Viego. I don't know why they made that connection. I don't know why they decided to put him on the Roots of Ruin. I wondered if he was going to have some role to play in Rise of the Sentinels that didn't make it to production. It feels so weird that he's on that family tree.
If they would do something with it, could you imagine how embarrassed he would be by Viego? That's the only way I will accept this. If he somehow meets or hears about Viego and he's like, oh my god, that guy? That's my nephew? Oh.
So I will say, I do think that there was a bit cut.
Okay.
Because this was another one that, one of the rioters involved had spoken out to about Vlad's role in everything. So I don't think it made it to production, so it's not canon. But apparently, Vlad did send Viego a bunch of letters, and eventually he started ignoring them. And Vlad was in the Blessed Isles when Callista came, looking for a cure, and he had the power to cure the queen, and actually wrote a letter to Viego to let him know, oh yeah, this is something I can do. You don't have to worry about this. But Viego ignored it.
Oh.
And so when he started coming, Vlad was like, ooh, I got a bad feeling about this, and fucking pieced out of the Blessed Isles.
But why wouldn't he just wait for him and be like, oh, hi, you didn't answer my letter. I can heal the lady.
Because he had a bad feeling, honey.
Okay,
you don't live that long
know.
ignoring bad feelings.
I feel like it doesn't add anything. I don't give a crap. I'll still say it. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Vlad has so many setups. I don't care about this one. I'll say. Yeah. Anyway, for this story, it's fine. It is weird that he goes and takes orphan tears. I guess it's good they didn't kill the orphan, because that's what it feels like is going to happen. So it's I don't know.
I do he's rambling about life and whatnot, and as he's sealing up her tears, and she's like, does it get any better? And he's like, for you, no. it's just gonna be ass for you, kids. Sorry.
Yeah.
Also, this is like a kind of a cool power of his that I feel like we never see again.
The teleporting.
Yeah, because like he not only does it through the fountains, but he does it to the room too. Because she said it's got one door, and she was staring at the door, waiting for it to open. And then he was just behind her. I feel like she would have noticed a pool of blood sliding under the door.
There must have been like a puddle back there or something.
Right.
I
Or
just
she
think
like
all
snuck in real
intentional
quick, and he
to-
was just hiding in the shadow,
what I
giggling,
was
just
imagining.
waiting.
He's behind the door, right? Like that gag. I don't know.
Just waiting. Did somebody say wonder?
I don't know. Yeah, I assume he's just like, because in my mind I picture it as like a I know they have light bulbs, but like a bare light bulb hanging over the chair and a lot of shadows in the corners. And I kind of assumed
So
he's
he
just
was
like,
already waiting there.
yeah, he's just standing in the corner like, man, I hope that fucking orphan gets in here soon. I've been waiting in here 20 minutes. Jesus Christ.
It's also, I think the other possibility is, there is like a bowl of water or something in that room specifically so he can then be like, just come from his house and teleport there or something. I don't know.
Well, see, the thing with the fountains is I assume they're all connected through some sort of like aqueduct system.
Oh,
or
that
pipe
makes
system,
more
right?
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of like, right? I don't know. He kind of Santa Clauses his way
So
between them. You know what I mean?
He's just going through like the toilet sewers.
I love.
Watching all the goldfish that got flushed out.
Vladimir is the toilet demon.
He steps into the toilet and flushes it and just spins down.
Then he comes
Oh
out
my
the wrong
God.
one and someone's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Vladimir!
You're worried that like a snake's gonna bite your ass while you're in the toilet. And everyone at Oxus is worried that Vladimir's gonna
Vladimir's
pop out of their toilet when they're taking a shit.
It makes potty training a fucking nightmare.
So bad.
The weirdest Noxian boogeyman ever.
Oh my God. Vladimir doesn't go through the toilets, I told you. Anyway,
Okay.
I do love the description of his house too, which we'll get more into in the next story. But it also feels like Edward Scissorhands' castle to me, like so much.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially in the other story because you get a really good description of it there.
Which I guess we'll go to because I mean there wasn't
Sure.
a ton in this
Yeah,
one.
not a lot in this one.
Art is Life was by Graham McNeil, so like
Bit longer.
it's a bit longer.
Yeah, it's no big deal. This one's told from the perspective of I guess like I don't want to say amateur, like an aspiring painter, we'll say, like starving artist, right?
Yes.
She lives in an apartment with like 6 other artists, and they all like
Mark, you
they're
froze.
living in like West LA, right? Like they're all just like
froze in a
trying
house.
to.
You do look happy.
Oh no, my
I
internet's
bet
broken.
he's on the other end. I'm going to hear this and he's going to be going,
Don't worry about it. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Let's
I've
remember
This is a
him
good
like
story,
this.
so you can hang
always
out and
remember
wait.
you, Mark.
I'm sure they're
Happy.
talking. We're talking over each other. I bet.
Oh.
There we
He's
go.
happy still. Yeah, there he
Hey.
is.
Who could be upset when talking about a fun League of Legends story? But yeah, starving artists. They're sharing a flat, and our main character, whose name I don't remember, has been commissioned by a well-to-do noble.
Mora. for the
Mora,
record.
yeah,
Mora.
that's the name.
Yeah, by one Vladimir, no last name, has commissioned her to come. He's like Prince, right?
He is Prince.
Come do so.
Shit.
But he wants a portrait done. And it's just like, oh, that's kind of weird. We're gonna do it at night. Okay, I guess whatever. They're weird. Nobles are weird. And she makes her way to the she has a very specific set of instructions to make her way to the vampire castle or whatever. And she gets there, and she kind of sees that it's like a weird mishmash of like architectural styles that have kind of come and gone through Noxus over the eons, right? But at the core of it is this tower that's like this very rudimentary sort of thing. And she's going about the grounds, and they've got these beautiful crimson butterflies and these beautiful, red flowers that are so pretty that she can't help but pluck one. And and the only light that's emanating from the whole fucking mansion is this weird red light from the top of this tower, right? Not that weird.
Can you imagine real quick exploring this in the MMO? It was so visual. I'm like, could you go to Vladimir's castle
Right?
in the
I would love
MMO?
that
I want to
shit.
go here so bad. Sorry. Go
That'll be
ahead.
fun. Be a fun instance. It's fun. I would love a whole haunted house situation, which is kind of what happens here ultimately. This is Haunted Mansion.
And you're like,
the
am I
League of Legends story.
in Vlad's castle or Elise's weird house?
Right?
There's less holes in the
Yes.
ceiling, so it's probably Vlad.
That's true. She gets in, and it's a dusty old place that's all like there's no signs of life anywhere, but she does hear like Vladimir starts speaking to her. Bless you. And she sees this portrait of it's of Vladimir, but he's decked out in this old ass armor, and he's got a cool scythe, and he is kind of leading this army of weird monsters that she's like thankful that she can't see the details of them because they're so horrific. And Vladimir just starts sort of spilling his guts. He's just
great.
like, so, Darkin, right? Darkin gave me these powers.
I love it. He has this conversation with some random person like every 100 years or something like
Right.
that. He just needs this little therapy sesh.
He's got to get it out, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I got to tell somebody.
I also love how he's just this faceless voice for like 20 minutes before she actually meets him. He's just like on an intercom.
Is this thing on? But yeah, he really is just like explaining, I had this master and he gave me some of his power, and I think, he did it just because he wanted to see, he thought it was fun. It was like teaching a monkey tricks, right? Just a fun thing to do. And it's creepy, but she can't help but be sort of enthralled by the whole thing. And she's going through his house, and she comes on this hallway, and it's full of the same butterflies that she had seen in the gardens, but they're all pinned up on the walls. It's like, again, it's like a big old haunted house. Like she gets in there and it's like, it's just this long ass hallway full of them. And she's like, this is so creepy. And he's explaining like, the butterflies outside don't exist anywhere else. I cultivated them and they exist because I choose who lives and who dies. And she touches one and it crumbles to dust, and they all start crumbling, and she gets freaked out by this butterfly dust storm, and she kind of runs out of the hallway.
It had like big Return to Oz energy.
Oh, I've
like,
not seen that.
that
Not
hallway
seen
of
it.
heads. Oh God, y'all should
I
fucking
know.
watch Return
I think
to
we would
Oz.
like that movie, Mark. This was what John grew up with. He was like, Wizard of Oz. No. His family gave him the creepy horror version, Return to Oz.
I would check it out.
If y'all haven't seen Return to Oz, it starts out with Dorothy getting, shock therapy because she was talking all that shit about, I went to Oz. So she was in an asylum just getting fucking electrocuted.
Jeez.
Sounds fun.
American McGee. Yeah. It could be, I think it could be fun. I'm
Right?
interested.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. But she comes up, she ends up at the base of the tower, right? And she sees these other portraits they're of Vlad, but he looks very different across them. One, he's this old, withered old man, and another one, he's, youthful and exuberant, and all these just different points in his life, right? And he kind of shows up and is like, here's the deal. I've lived such a long life. It's like we'd said, I have someone come in, for a time I had people capturing every moment of my life, but I realize now, like, I only want this portrait done when a momentous change is about to precipitate in Runeterra. And she's like, well, what's that going to be? He's like, I don't know. There's a lot of them. Right?
I've got a feeling, and trust
feeling.
me, my feelings have been pretty spot on so
You
far.
could get a portrait done any day of the week, and it would be like, yeah,
Right,
there's probably
it's
some shit about to happen.
Right?
And he's like, and I chose you because, so in the start of the story, you had seen some of her artist buddies, and he's like, I chose you not because you're the most technically proficient. Your friend Jimmy is really good at perspective, and Tommy is like really
These
good
are
at color,
not
better than
names. This is Mark.
absolutely the
names.
names. Tina is great at whatever.
Some other thing that artists do.
And your friend George, we both know he's not going anywhere, right?
Oh my God,
Right,
we
yeah,
did
that was-
have that about one of them. Look at that one friend
a
kind of
dabbler.
sucks, but you guys keep him around.
but he's funny. And but it's like, but you
He's got a great personality.
he's like, but you I think ultimately is that she cares about her art. She puts herself into the art that she does, and she cares about every brush stroke and everything, and that's who he wants to do his portrait. And and he's kind of offering her like, come up the tower and we'll do this. And she's like, oh, I should run, but can I live my life looking back and knowing that I turned this, whatever this is, down? So she acquiesces, and up they go into the tower. I assume he's gonna eat her once she does the portrait.
I don't know, because he does tell her everything. But I also could see Vlad, like, being okay spilling all of his secrets to one person and letting them go and be like, who the fuck's gonna believe her?
Yeah, especially
you know, like,
a starving artist.
That's true.
Yeah, like, she's not gonna tell anybody. So, yeah, that's really left up in the air whether or not she makes it out of the castle. But I think it could go either way, and they would both make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like this a lot.
Yeah.
So, right at the beginning, one thing I found interesting, they said when she was walking through the courtyard, like, the buildings to either side were well built with stone blocks that spoke of an experienced hand, perhaps that of a war mason. We've heard a lot about war masons so far, and up until this point, they've always just been spies. It did not occur to me until this moment that, like, they're probably actual masons who are chosen as spies because they're really good at, like, drawing blueprints.
Well, you know, makes sense. It's in the name.
Yes.
Let's go.
I also liked, it said, she chewed her bottom lip as she considered what she was about to do, then reached out to pluck a number of petals from the nearest plant. This was, like, the really pretty plant she saw. And I immediately fucking thought of, like, Willy Wonka. Just like, you fucking failed.
That's
you stole
exactly
the
what I thought, John. I was like, oh my god, that's going to be her demise. But Vlad brings it up. He knows that she killed the plant, and he doesn't care at all.
Yeah, he's pretty cool with it. He says night blooms, which was the plant that she killed, were once native to an island chain in the east. A blessed place of rare beauty and enlightenment. I dwelled there for a time until it was destroyed, as all mortal endeavors ultimately must be. I took some seeds from a grove once tended by a temperamental nature spirit and brought them back to Valoran, where I was able to entice them to grow with a combination of blood and tears. Which is a nice little nod to not just the Blessed Isles, but a nice little nod to Maokai and a nice little nod to if I remember correctly, I think it was a night bloom that he was protecting in his own short story.
Oh, you're right.
It absolutely was, yeah.
I forgot about that. Man, she just killed the last one, huh?
Right.
What a bitch. She didn't know.
Maybe there's a few more. I don't know.
That's true.
I
Maokai
think
was protecting that
one.
night bloom. Maybe.
Yeah, that one's still there, probably.
Maybe it died when the one that she killed died. Could you imagine?
I thought they only, like, from what I remember from the Maokai story, they're like, it's like a one-time thing. They bloom once at night, and then that's kind of it.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like some of the stuff, or kind of even before she gets to the castle, where it's kind of describing just what it feels like kind of walking around Noxus at night, and it's like you really shouldn't be going out at night.
Yeah.
Or how like the fact that he has a garden is sort of like, wow, it's like LA. Space is at a massive premium, so the fact that he has the space for that is like a real sign of like wealth and power almost.
Yeah, like a neat garden, a fountain. There's so much room here.
I loved the fountain too. It was Mordekaiser, but he's headless, and the water is coming out of where his head was. Right? Was that the fountain?
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And she's looking at it for a while, and she realizes like who it's supposed to be, which I also like that Mordekaiser's like still a legend that people know. Like they know who he is much later.
Yeah.
And it freaks her out. She's like, oh fuck, there's a fountain of Mordekaiser here. Like you imagine there's not a lot of like, statues and shit representing him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
this is a great look into Vladimir, and like he's such a different and unique character that's like in Runeterra. But I feel like they managed to make him fit in a way, like creating this very kind of dramatic vampire type creature in a way that is realistic to Runeterra. Couldn't have been easy.
Yeah, I like
Sure.
what they did with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very into gothic vampire-y stuff though, so Vlad's just gonna be my vibe.
Sure. I kind of wish, this is not really related to his lore, I kind of wish his endgame stuff hit on the vampire fantasy more, because I feel like some of his abilities feel really weird to me. That's whatever. It's a personal preference thing.
The skins do, though.
Right?
That's certainly true, right?
great.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I liked about when he was spilling his guts to her, he does address one of the issues I had with his bio.
Oh?
Actually, maybe more than a few, but when he was talking about why he was taught hemomancy, he said, I used to think it was because he saw a spark of greatness within me, or the potential to be something more than a mere mortal. But more than likely, he just thought it would be amusing to teach one of his mortal pets some tricks, as the Mountebank teaches a monkey to dance around his stall to attract the gullible. And, like, that seems way more on brand for...
Like Vladimir asked and insisted and that he was going to be great at it. And the guy's like, yeah, this is going to be great. This will be really funny. And Vladimir's just the first one to ask, like, can I study your magic or something?
Right.
Sure, yeah. He got punked. Wow, my internet is complete crap. Anyway.
That's
sorry.
right. You're looking great anyway.
You look great. Yeah.
Awesome.
I do find it interesting. So it does seem that, like, in this story in particular, too, I feel like they lean into a lot of kind of the vampire tropes. Despite, like, elsewhere in Vlad lore, they kind of, like, push away from it. Like, they kind of make it clear, like, no, he's not drinking the blood. He's not a vampire. He's a hemomancer. Like, he doesn't live forever just because he's a vampire. Like, no, there's a dark ritual he has to do. So it's weird that they lean so hard into those stereotypes in this story in particular.
Yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes I don't know what the deal. Like, I don't know if it's that they think like, oh, hemomancer is like a nice twist to set him apart from just a standard vampire, or if it's like, you know, especially with anything more recent, there's a lot of international like release like content concerns, right?
Oh,
Like the cinematic, right? Where it's like, hey guys, we can't have him sucking blood. What else can he do? But he's been a hemomancer from the beginning. I think even in his old lore, he was not like a proper vampire. So I think it's just more like blood bending is cool enough, and it kind of, you get the vampire shtick while still feeling a little more original, I guess. But
That's true.
I don't think we mentioned it, but when she picked a few petals off of the night bloom, for the record, the night bloom immediately died. And I did find it funny that when she went into like the butterfly hallway too, it was just an entire hallway of beautiful butterflies. And like she touched one and then they all disintegrated.
Why did they
too.
all die? I was very confused by that.
I
mean, they were all dead, but already they were
Yeah,
just
yeah.
pinned up. But she touched one and it turned to dust, and then all of them turned to dust.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened, but I am
because
curious.
it's fucking spooky.
Spooky. I am curious how many, because he gets a painting probably every now and then. How many of his other painters have
Just ruining all
destroyed
his
so
shit.
much of his fucking shit in the first 5 minutes being there?
I had that question. Like, does he set it up? Like I said, is it like a haunted house where it's like,
I
okay,
do
we
love
gotta
that.
set up the butterfly room, go peel the eyeballs or grapes or whatever, right?
This is what they're here for. It's what they pay for. The haunted mansion.
Close your eyes and put your hand in this bowl of spaghetti real quick. Ooh, it's brains.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Look at that.
So I do like that. I think with Vlad, because he's so dramatic and serious, I had this image in my head of him doing. This is also what we do in the shows, like just mundane tasks, and it was very funny to me. Right, Vladimir having to go interview for a job is, I think that's a lot of fun. So,
I do like in this telling of the story how Vlad is like kind of like a Nivea. He times his new lives for when something big is about to happen. That's a cool portrayal. I am a little confused on the timeline about him being Prince of Camivore, because it also said that he led the armies that sacked Camivore and killed the royal line. So at what point did a new royal lineage of Camivore begin, that he's still part of the family?
Yeah,
a
this
good
also
question.
isn't. And now with the release of Smolder, adding Vlad to this doesn't really make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
maybe the dragons secreted away some of the royal family, and allowed the line to continue once the Darken fell. I mean, you could probably finagle it that way, or you could just get rid of the whole connection entirely. He could just be a prince from some kingdom. That would be. I mean, it feels more reasonable to. Yeah, anywhere, right? Some forgotten kingdom that's since faded to dust, and that's kind of appropriate for him, right? Is that his connections are all by the wayside, right? It shouldn't be something that still kind of exists in some weird way or something like that,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Let's see. So I have a bit of the old lore here, just because kind of it wasn't. It was kind of worth mentioning. The battle that I mentioned before that Vladimir kind of led the charge on was the Battle of the Green Fangs, where an order of Noxian war mages led by Vladimir, known as the Arcane Fist at the time, not the Crimson Circle in the old lore, bombarded Demacian troops for 13 days until Gallio appeared and just fucking decimated them.
We gonna throw blood at Gallio?
I'll suck his blood.
Oh, fuck!
Yeah, and they gets referenced, and the little Gallio cameo in this, right? One of the portraits is of him all beaten up and bloodied in front of a giant ivory statue, right? So they've had some interaction at some point, I guess. And Gallio would remember him. That would be. I don't know. I don't know if I'm that interested in the connection the connection between those two, but
you probably remember him more than he remembers himself at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be funny. It's like, oh, you used to have this really thick accent, like,
right? What happened to your nose ring, buddy?
That I like. Yeah. Cringe teenage Vladimir. I kind of like this a little bit. It's like going back and meeting all your hometown friends. They're like, oh, hey V man,
right?
Put on some weight, huh?
Going with the white hair instead of black. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I like this story. This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And
do you want to do
the other one? Yeah, Daring Darling, I think it was called.
Yeah. We went over this a bit with Callista, because she also shows up in it. So the setup is that there's this little inn that's kind of just off the shores of the Shadow Isles, and the big draw of it, aside from being kind of like one of the few places you can get some like a hot meal, is also that there is a vault down at the bottom of it where the woman who runs it, Fayette, I think is her name, you can store shit down there, right? It's like a big anti-magic sort of vault. People who are exploring on the Isles can get their treasures and bring them back here for safekeeping, and that's kind of her whole, that's the service she provides. So there's a bunch of people there from all walks of life, a Noxian, an Ionian priestess, Demacian, Noxians, they're all there. And they're all kind of like chilling out. Everyone's kind of talking about their progress, trying to find shit on the Shadow Isles, when a harrowing shows up. But before they can all leave, they gotta do this toast that they all have to do. It seems like a waste of fucking time in my opinion, but it's okay. They gotta do this toast, and they gotta get everyone down there, and the last person to show up is this Noxian noble who's been kind of there, and he's sort of pompous and erudite, and his name is Vladimir. And as they're getting ready to do this toast, the lights go out, a scuffle happens, someone's killed, and then they try to kind of like, okay, let's get the fuck out of here, and they go to their boats, their escape boats, and they're all being held down by these magical blood chains, right? Who could be doing this shit, I wonder? These magical blood chains. So then it's like everyone's kind of stuck on the island. Harrowing's coming, and so everyone starts kind of getting all paranoid. So someone runs up and hides himself in their room. Other people are accusing each other, and shit just kind of goes wild. Vladimir ends up sort of helping Fayette with trying to solve the problem. He is kind of the whole time trying to be like, we should go open that vault. It'd probably be very helpful if we could go help get all those magical artifacts, but that's the service she offers. If she takes all the shit out, she's not trustworthy, she doesn't want to do it. But they do have to fight spirits. They fight some of the other people there. While they're doing it, Vladimir kills one of the people in like a fight, and she doesn't see it, but she does kind of note afterwards that like, he killed that guy. He doesn't have a weapon on him. That's kind of weird. And things continue to descend into chaos, and eventually this big wave of blood washes over as part of this crazy shit's happening. And when she kind of is done being washed over with blood, she is suddenly being kind of puppeted, and she can't really control her own movements and is being kind of slowly forced down to the vault to open it. Tries to fight it off, but is kind of forced to do it, blacks out, and kind of wakes up. The vault's open. Various other adventurers have been either killed or killed each other. And eventually it comes out that there's not just one sorcerer doing this, because they're all trying to figure out who's the mage who is keeping the boats locked down. It's two. It's Vladimir and his little like Renfield like assistant guy, Backer, I think his name is. The V Bros are at it. And it's great because they show up and they show up like blinged out because they took all the shit out of the vault. So like Vladimir's wearing this cool crown, and the Vacker guy has got like, I don't know, like armor or some like rings or some shit. I don't know. They just come down the stairs like, what's up? Yeah, we got all that shit. But one of the adventurers who is like dying names Vladimir as her betrayer and does the little voodoo doll ritual, and Callista shows up, and Callista impales the Vacker guy. The spear goes right through him and seems to just kind of go like, not like through Vlad, but he just sort of like, kind of around it. And he's like, oh, this is great. I've been waiting for centuries for something like this. This is awesome. This is fun. Now, something else they had established very early in this story is this bell. This Ionian priestess has this bell that if you ring it, it makes all the magic go crazy for a second, and then once it stops ringing, it kind of stops everything. So they're like, that'll save our asses, this bell. And they ring the bell. She manages to get off the island on the boat. She leaves Vladimir fighting Callista, and as she's leaving, she hears the bell ring again, and all these spirits start going nuts on the boat. That's, she's getting away on, and then the bell kind of stops, and they all kind of, and Vladimir manages to get himself to the boat. He is wounded. Fighting Callista did like mess him up a little bit, and she's like, well, you think I'm gonna let you on my boat? And he's like, don't worry, I'm harmless. Now row us back. Get us the fuck out of here, please. And I guess she does, because she's got no other, that's what she's gonna do anyway.
I've never hurt anyone in my life. Held my crown. That's really it. This was obviously written I think before they had any connection to he had any like Viego connections. I don't know how like canon it is, because he talks also about like the reason he's done it is for his benefactors, and that they're gathering up items to fight their enemies, which is very like Black Rose shit. So I think at the time he was written as being more working with them, whereas now he's just kind of doing his own thing. So
right. And it seemed like in this story too, he definitely, like, we mentioned him kind of puppeteering Fayette, but like
that's really like an amulet.
The only reason he was able to was because he stole like a magical amulet that someone else had, and like when he did the whole wave of blood thing, like put it on her. So he didn't have the ability to actually control her without that, which I think is something that he can technically do now, even though it's not done a whole lot. Also, I was surprised that like it definitely seemed like Callista could take him. He fucking pieced out of that fight.
I mean, she's got no blood to be hemomance.
No blood, yeah.
I assume.
His one strength.
Yeah, his only thing.
Yeah. I did like this. I like this story just in its construction. I really like bottle episode type stories, right? And I really love the idea of like, let's get everyone across the big places in Runeterra. There's no Freljord folk, but that's okay. And stick them all together, and they've all got like different, they don't like each other, or they do like each other. Her friend Gavin, I want to say, is like, he's a mage who had like fled from Demacia. So there's like this whole thing where, they think maybe he's the mage who's doing it, and she's having to kind of deal with him, like realizing that he's lied, but he did it for obvious reasons, and he's not the mage who's got blood chains, obviously. So, but just that setup is a lot of fun. I had the thought before I had like gone and revisited this, that I would really love sort of almost like a black comedy thing like this of Vladimir at a noble like feast or ball or whatever in Noxus, and just slowly picking people off one by one.
Right.
And
also
like
be
LeBlanc's there, and she's trying to get him to freaking stop because he's blowing up her spot or something.
Right.
That would be funny.
like a
complete
combination.
There's like 3 of her by the end of it trying to deal with him.
I was gonna say
pretty
it sounded
fun.
a lot like a combination of like, and then there were none, and Mask of the Red Death.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not familiar with the first one.
That's
It's had a lot of different
Agatha
iterations
Christie.
over the time. I think what was it? That train one. It's same main premise.
Oh, Murder on the Orient Express.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
If you
just
saw
anything like that,
Identity,
yeah.
if you saw that one episode of Boy Meets World.
I haven't seen
great
any of it. Well, I've seen
episode.
Murder, but yeah, I know. I get what your point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I always do.
it-
I love when fantasy worlds have like a neutral peace zone where people aren't allowed to fight or have weapons and they have to interact with each other. That's really fun.
Yeah.
Fantasy worlds should always have that.
It always goes wrong, but I love when they have it anyway.
Yeah, but I also love when like that's deeply respected. Like you wouldn't. It isn't in this story, but I do like when it is very respected that like you don't, fight or murder in this one spot. You know?
Yeah, that's nice.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and it sounds like it held up for a while. It's just like,
Vlad just
times
it
get
up.
tough, right? Yeah, Vlad goofed it up a little bit too. Life comes at you fucking fast.
Oh gosh.
But yeah. And the name of her place is the Daring Darling. That's what the title comes from, by the way. That's the name of the
Oh,
outpost.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. But yeah,
All
pretty
right, We
neat.
got some old lore here, John.
I do have some old lore here. You want to talk about some old lore?
I do.
Sure, yeah.
So, I mean, I'll do the bio that I read first, if it's different than the one that you read. So basically, a lot of the stuff is kind of, he was a normal kid who was just really into murder. Like, he had a group of friends that he played with, and he just was like, one day, like, I could probably kill them, so he just went and did it. And then he was on the run because he killed a bunch of kids. And then he came across a guy who impaled a bunch of people.
Oh my god.
Was it that he impaled people? Okay, well, maybe the version I read didn't have it.
Yeah, he came across a castle that had just like a bunch of impaled bodies leading up to it, and with like pools of blood underneath. And he met the guy. He was like a monk who practiced hemomancy.
An impaling monk, sure.
I would say here. Let's see. The trail of bodies led him to a crumbling stone temple. Inside, he found an aging monk who appraised him with eyes of pure crimson. Vladimir surprised the monk by returning the wicked gaze with zeal. Recognizing the boy's sinister craving, the monk taught Vladimir how to manipulate and control the fluid of life, often practicing on passing travelers. When it came time for Vladimir to learn the final lesson, the monk warned that failure would result in death. Vladimir did not fail, but success bore a grisly surprise. During the ritual, every drop of the monk's body was drawn from his body and fused with Vladimir's, imbuing him with his master's magical essence and that of every hemomancer before him. Left alone and suddenly without purpose, Vladimir resolved to return to Noxus, demanding enrollment in the League to prove the supremacy of his craft. When the Noxian High Command observed the gruesome fates which befell the palace guards, they elected to avail themselves of Vladimir's unsavory talents.
That last bit is what I meant by the murder for hire thing, and that he just becomes like he just works for the Noxian High Command. They just get him to do like jobs or whatever, I assume. Although he might, in retrospect, it probably just means availed his talents on the fields of justice and the League of Legends or whatever. Yeah. What else? You got Judgment? Right?
Yeah, did you wanna go over the Judgment?
Yeah, and that bio you said is the one that I read, so I think
okay,
we're on the
cool.
same page. Yeah.
Interesting.
The judgment, the judgment's not terribly interesting. I found it's really just him going back through some of those key moments. He goes into the League of Legends. He goes into the mind portal or whatever. He goes back to like seeing Dimitri is the monk who he had absorbed the power of. And he's like, Dimitri, how are you here? And he's like, I'm always with you, Vladimir. Right.
But when you struck me down, I came back stronger than ever.
But yeah, he kind of remembers. He remembers firsthand killing his friends and the lead up to the monk castle or whatever. There's all these dead, desiccated bodies that have all their blood sucked out. Anyway, he kind of goes through these memories, and then they're like, oh, well, why you want to join the League? And he's like, for the glory of Noxus. And I'm like, why you want to join the League? And he's like, because I really want to hone my craft. And it's like, why you want to join the League, Vlad? And he's like, because I gotta kill. I gotta do it.
Got it.
You're hired.
Right.
Welcome.
Like, all right, you're in. Yeah. That's pretty much it. There's not a lot. This is a pretty straightforward judgment as they go.
Yeah, because it was
At
the
least I
second
found.
judgment ever.
Wow.
Oh, was it really? Jeez, I didn't
Yeah.
even look at the order.
We probably don't have a
I
lot
guess
of
you-
judgments left, huh?
Probably not. We have a handful, maybe.
Maybe
but
Yorick. Would Yorick have been the time of judgment?
York probably would have had one.
Warwick, maybe. Would Warwick, or is he too old?
God, I'm trying to remember the Varys had one, right? So,
I think
Now I'm
Zyra's
just trying to remember.
too
Now I'm trying to remember champions.
I know, right?
That's all right. We'll find out as we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
can at
it's
least
true.
have one more, I'm sure.
Now he does show up in a few Journal of Justice
It's
articles.
been a while, I feel like, since we've been visiting the Journal of Justice. Yeah.
First off, issue 12, Vlad, played by Poison Iden. This was during the trial for the Isle, the Ionian independence from Noxus. He kept evading gank attempts by the Ionians.
By pressing
then-
W.
Yep. But then he lost connection, or as the story puts it, Poison Iden's link with the Noxian champ was severed. At which point, the Ionians patiently waited for him to reconnect before proceeding.
That was really nice of them. That was really
Right.
honorable. The Noxians would have never done that.
right.
Yeah, they were very honorable to send a PM to Freak to say, hey, should we keep going, or like, what's up?
We reacted to this game.
I was
didn't
gonna
then they
say,
did
if you want to
Baron the
see this
moment he came back.
reaction,
we? Yeah.
it's on our Patreon.
Yep.
For the $5 tier now.
Please go watch it. It's really
It's
fucking
a
funny.
great
Really,
fucking
really funny.
match.
So cringe. So cringe.
Yeah.
And then issue 17, we have a mailbag of justice.
That was beautiful.
I have often chosen Vladimir as my champion to do battle on the fields of justice, and I'm filled with a morbid fascination regarding his transfusion. Do individual champions have unique tasting blood? Does the dark blood of the Void from, say, Cho'Gath taste different from the chemical-laden blood of Singed?
Probably.
Which champion would you say is your favorite? And Vladimir responded, the thought of you there, fantasizing about the taste of blood, invigorates me.
Oh, he's thirsty indeed.
Right? I do not drink it in the conventional sense. I use it, and it fills me. Think of the relationship.
Fills all his holes.
The way you said that was deeply disturbing.
You're welcome. Anyway, it fills him.
Think of the relationship a cloud might have with water. However, what makes blood special is not its actual taste, but the flavor of the life force which infuses it. That life force is what I taste when I use my craft. In this way, the blood of Cho'Gath is as different from the blood of Singed as are the two champions themselves. Despite the many flavors, I could not choose a favorite. Variety, like blood, is the spice of life.
I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's what I said. I don't know if blood's the spice of life. I don't know.
It's in all my cooking.
That's fair. Doesn't he have a line about that somewhere?
Yes!
About like,
oh my god.
is it like the artist's life or whatever?
Oh, I
What
was
does he
thinking
mean?
of the blood, sweat, and tears line.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
of.
So he used a lot of blood and tears, and she was like, "Don't you mean blood, sweat, and tears?" And he was like, "No.
Gross.
It's like,
Why
what
would I
would
use
sweat
Why
have
would
to
I
do
use
with-
sweat?
Yeah.
You nasty." I use blood and tears only.
Now,
Orphan tears.
Orphan tears
Orphan
specifically.
tears.
Now, old cinematic for this one, the reborn cinematic for Scion. They kind of mention how they needed a lot of they needed Vlad's blood magic to revive him. So this probably isn't canon anymore, but it's old
now
bullshit.
really lingering on the idea that Vlad painted Viego and used orphan tears because his eyes were so sad. That is
What else do you think he
so
used?
dumb.
Well, him and Hui should hook up. Honestly,
I was gonna say,
Those
you
two-
think
Right.
Huey would hear that and just like cream his pants?
Yes.
He's like, "You used what for the eyes?"
Kind of like it, honestly.
Genius. I would
Those
never
two should
think.
get
Find
together
me
and
an
be like-
orphan.
Find me an orphan right now.
I mean, he lives in Ionia. Come on,
there's
it's gotta be.
It's raining orphans there. Literally, he'll pick one up, make him cry. Won't take long. Just look at Hui. He's so sad.
Now I do have one. Don't read the screen, honey.
Oh, sorry, I didn't actually. I was looking
Okay,
at the
good.
cinematics.
I do have one cinematic that questionably canon. It is Wild Rift, so
Yeah,
take it as you will. But we see old Vlad approaching a guarded Noxing building. He's using a cane. He's old man. The guards are like, dude, you can't be here. So he goes ahead and he drains the two of them. And then like a whole group of guards are like, wait, what? So they all attack him. And he just hemophages them.
You see someone run at somebody, and then they suddenly have no blood left inside of them, and you're like, "My turn. I got
give me some of that.
Yeah."
Yeah, so I mean, he drains all of the guards and he becomes young again. So there are two important details about this. Actually, three important details. One, his hemoplague kills someone who ran away from the blood pool a few seconds later, which I kind of like. That was a nice touch. It's kind of like Vlad's actual hemoplague. You like run away and you're like, I'm
made
fine,
it.
and then it pops. Two, apparently, when Vlad becomes young again, so do his clothes. That's canon now.
Oh, that's good. Very important.
maybe it's like Bayonetta and they're made out of blood or something.
Ooh, I love it.
It's his hair.
And finally, at the end of the cinematic, there's a three-eyed raven watching this whole ordeal. So Swain definitely knows what's up.
Yeah, cat's out of the bag on that one, I think.
He saw that. He's like, "I thought I'd seen everything in Ruterra. What the hell?"
Now, before we get into AUs, I got a little game for y'all.
Okay.
Okay, I'm excited.
It is the triumphant return of, is this a League of Legends champion quote, or is it some dumb shit that John just made up?
Oh,
this is up your
Vlad
alley
or
then,
something
okay.
you made up.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's pool our efforts.
God, this is so you.
Oh, hold on. I'll keep track because I know you always ask me. Who
Okay, yeah, we always ask.
We
know
never
keep track.
know.
Let me get a fucking notebook or some shit on this.
Let's pool our efforts. I'm trying to think. Would he say that shit?
I'm gonna say that's Vlad.
Let's pool. I'll say that's. I'll say that's. God damn, I really feel like that's Vlad. But for fun, we'll say it's John. Let's say it's John.
No, if you think it's also Vlad, you should go with your gut.
I feel like this is a trick, and it's John.
Ooh, I love that.
All right. Oh,
Are you not gonna tell us who it was?
I will. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I will. Yeah, that was Vlad.
That was Vlad. Okay.
Shit.
Vlad.
Okay. Fuck.
Oh, positively delicious.
Oh, positively delicious.
I think this is John. And I will say, I had meant to make these puns throughout the episode, and then I completely forgot about the idea. Because I thought about it 3 days ago, and then it left my brain. Yeah, then, but I think that's John.
You think that one's me?
It's positively delicious?
I said, positively delicious.
Or did Vlad say,
God.
Positively delicious?
No, that's John.
All right.
And was it you?
That one was me.
Does this taint the outcome if we start to get a sense of what's John and what's Vlad?
I don't know. You'll. I feel like even at the end, you won't know where Vlad ends and John begins.
John begins. He filled all the holes.
You're so draining.
I think that's John.
Ooh, I was gonna say John, but I'll say Vlad to spice it up.
Okay. That one was me, though I will say the Vlad quote is a draining exercise.
Same
Jeez.
Yeah. That'll be my only one that shares the same pun, for the record.
Okay, good to know.
The clot thickens.
The clot thickens? That's so dumb. I'm gonna say it's you.
That's Vlad. I unfortunately know that one.
You know that one? Nice.
That one is Vlad.
Because it's so stupid.
I didn't think he was so full of puns.
Right. First blood, don't mind if I do.
Oh, fuck. I'll say that's Vlad. I like that, though.
I think this is John. My reasoning being that Vlad was released in 2010, and they probably didn't have first blood quotes at the time.
I love that.
That was me.
Ah, good one. Huh?
Okay.
Don't run. Let your blood do that.
God.
I
Vlad.
think this is also John.
Ooh, shit. I'm so bad.
Yeah,
at
John.
this.
I'm locking it in.
That one is me.
Fuck.
Trickling progress.
Vlad.
I think
One of
Vlad.
them has to be Vlad eventually.
That one is Vlad.
Okay.
We haven't had Vlad in forever. This one's got to be Vlad.
Right. Care to make a donation?
Oh, God. I'll say that's you.
I'm going to go with Vlad.
That one is Vlad.
Shit.
Ooh,
Well, you
shit,
definitely
man.
won this, Mark. I don't even need the points.
Well, now it's just for fun.
Right. I hope there's no bad blood.
Oh, my God. That's you, John.
I think that's John.
That one is me.
You were listening to Taylor Swift.
Go ahead. Be negative. You'll be just my type.
I'll say that's Vlad. That's hard, though.
I think that's Vlad. Yeah, I think that's Vlad.
That one is Vlad.
Nice.
See, what I was going to say before that one is that the pattern I'm recognizing is that Vlad's quotes are a lot shorter. But there's something about that one. I don't know.
That one was long.
That one was a long one. That was the longest one so far. What's red and red and red all over?
That's it?
Well, now I need to
I'm
know
gonna say that's Vlad.
I want to say that's Vlad too, because it makes sense that they wouldn't have an actual punchline.
Oops, actually, hold on.
Oh shit! Uh-oh. These have
That
actually
was
all
me.
been.
Oh, that was you.
that was
Neither of
me.
us got points.
What's the punchline? Or is there
What's
one?
red and red and red all over?
I don't know, Vlad. That was fucking- Not my job to come up with a punchline.
That's fair.
You definitely did work for Riot, huh?
No, that was actually it.
I was so ready.
So Mark wins that one with 9.
Holy shit! Nice, Mark.
9 out of 12 correct. I think there was 12, right?
I don't know.
Let's see. 3,
You say any number.
9, 10. There was 11, actually.
Okay.
9 out of 11. Pretty good.
Damn, nice.
And Rebecca got 5 out of 11.
Okay, well, you know what?
You know what? We all had a fun time. We learned
Yeah, I
something
had a really
about
fun
Vlad.
time. No, that was great, honey. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good shit.
Took me a while to think of some dumb fucking puns.
Did it? Because
No,
you
you're-
usually think of them very quickly.
You're very
But
on
6
brand.
of them. 6 quality A+ tier A+ blood type puns.
All right, AUs. He has a lot.
Yeah.
He does have a lot of
old
AUs.
shit.
So we're going to start off with Soul Stealer. Souls are life, light, power, and in a world without mercy, they are stolen and consumed by remorseless masters of death. And this is Soul Stealer Vlad, which has no lore.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Next up, we got The Grind, High Society. The only thing more impressive than their wealth is their tax avoidance skills. And this is Marquis Vladimir. At the last ball he attended, Vladimir stole everyone's heart. Strangely enough, no one has heard or seen of those attendees since.
I get it.
Yeah. Next up, we got Bloodstone, which I'm so sorry to tell you has a new blurb.
No. That was so
You know what?
good.
Can't we ever have anything nice? Right? Can we have this one thing that's nice around here?
Riot. Come on, man.
Fuck me. Come on.
I'll try and do the other one from memory before I go into the new one.
Okay. God bless you.
Bloodstone features Bloodstone champions who are powered by the Bloodstone.
That's great.
And first up is Bloodstone Lord Vladimir.
Sure.
But the
Anyway.
actual blurb is, the fabled Bloodstone grants impressive abilities at an equally chilling price. Many bodies lie in its wake, with doubtless more to come, because there's no shortage of power within the darkness, only the will to seize it. And this is Blood Lord Vladimir. Former leader of a Bloodstone cult, Vladimir took part in a ritual that sacrificed his humanity, along with the blood of several victims, to transform the once foppish noble into a terror of the night. To satiate his sanguine cravings, he stalks the urban labyrinth in search of hapless prey.
Sorry.
Sanguine cravings. That was a tough. That's a tough series
cravings.
of sanguine cravings.
Listener, say it with us. Sanguine cravings.
Craving. Fun fact about this one: this is the second non-comical legendary skin. The first one was Demon Blade Tryndamere.
Yeah. God, this
and
is such an old one.
it is
I
old.
know. Look at that splash.
Look
Yeah.
at that crotch metal.
Look at that crotch metal. Can't look away.
I was looking at that pillar. I feel like it don't work.
We were
right.
too.
is pretty
It's at the crotch. Oh wait, what?
Oh, that's the pillar.
Oh yeah. Also, his dance in this references contact juggling. He's contact juggling some blood.
Oh, like
neat.
the... Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so funny.
Then we've got Academy. Attention, students and faculty. It has come to our attention that all students are currently facing disciplinary actions and all professors are on suggested psychiatric leave. Class will be canceled until further notice, perhaps a time when the aforementioned suspended students have re-examined their abysmal behavior.
Oh, abysmal.
Academy Vladimir. Notice from the Dean. Vladimir is henceforth suspended from Academy grounds for behavior including, but not limited to, extreme snobbery, hiring other students to finish his exams, and attending his classes, and putting an unnecessary strain on our janitorial department after that incident.
Oh, no.
Now, there is a cinematic associated with this called LOL School. It is entirely in Russian. I have zero idea what's happening and no idea what I just watched. So, if you know Russian, watch it for me and tell me what it is, please.
Okay, interesting. Huh.
Next up, we have Dark Waters. Neath waxing moon and rising tides, dark magic stir and secrets hide, where sultan blood and fell winds blow, as above the waves, so too below.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, this is Dark Waters Vladimir. In his younger days, Vladimir practiced at a school of medicine known for magically manipulating the humors of a patient's body. Turns out in Bilgewater, there's much more coin to be made killing than saving, and now he's found himself in a much more lucrative, if not messier, line of work.
I do like them referencing like
Humors
the
and
humors.
olden days.
Yeah.
Good touch, good touch.
It used to be believed, to people who don't know, that there were 4 humors that make up like everyone's body.
And what would you do
Name
if
them.
one was out of balance?
You had to figure it out. Well, the humors were blood, black bile, yellow bile. What was the fourth one?
Is it like mucus or something?
It might be.
But that was one of the things where like, oh no, your black bile count is too high, so they would do like bloodletting to balance your
Yeah.
humors.
Yeah, like that's where the bloodletting came from. Oh, phlegm.
Yeah.
It was
Phlegm.
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 Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
I was
take
like,
it.
is it
you were
spit?
right there. Yeah, that's credit.
Black bile,
We'll get
yellow
that.
bile, blood, and phlegm.
You've got too much
Good stuff.
blood. We need to pump some phlegm in your
Take
body.
it out. This reminds me of Drunk History, because one of the oldest ones, the first one I ever thought, the first one I ever saw, I don't even remember what it was for, but he was like, hey, you have some leeches. Put some leeches on it. That line has just stuck with me so much. Because that's what they did. Anywho.
Back when science was science, am I right?
Yeah. Sometimes your sickness was because there was a bad smell nearby.
Or because you were a woman and your uterus was
Yeah.
moving around your body.
Do you know how they told you to get it back? Is they would have a woman sit on a jug of wine, and that her uterus would be drawn to the wine and go back to where it was supposed
Was that like a Roman thing? Was that when they were doing that shit? I can't
Maybe.
remember.
But that's great. Here, sit on this jug of wine. Can I drink it too while I'm sitting on
Right.
it, or would that make it mess it up?
Right.
No,
You
it'll
set a
go
giant
up. It'll
straw.
go up. Yeah.
Straw, yeah, the uterus though will float back up. Anyway,
Next up, we got Nightbringer versus Dawnbringer.
God, I haven't seen a lot of these newer-ish ones. I
know,
feel like.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Chaos and darkness reign through deities of night, bringing change to a static world locked in conflict with the forces of dawn. Order and light reign through deities of dawn, bringing structure to a nascent world locked in conflict with the forces of night. This is Nightbringer Vladimir,
It's very close to the Bloodstone
right?
description.
The chaotic king of the night, Vladimir exists as the personification of uncertainty and revelry. He thrives in the unknown shadows, feeding on the life essence and darkness found in mortal hearts. And then we have Event Horizon, Cosmic. Vast stardust creates control. Nope. Here, let me try that again.
You got this, hun.
Vast stardust creatures control the ebb and flow of creation, painting the cosmos with sublime light as their celestial court drifts along the fabric of time and space.
The Barbie movie, if anybody hasn't seen it.
This is Cosmic Devourer Vladimir. Pompous, arrogant, and isolated from his cosmic brethren, Vladimir drinks the essence from dead worlds to infuse dying ones with life. Yet as of late, his hunger has begun to grow.
They really haven't changed Vladimir in a lot of these, huh?
Right? Pompous, something sucking.
It's like a bad
He's
lip.
pompous. He sucks. That's Vlad.
Fun fact about this one. While not being directly corrupted by the Dark Star, Cosmic Devourer Vladimir's actions have resulted in him becoming similar to a dark cosmic. Also, he's inspired by the Eridanus constellation, which, if you're not sure what that is, it's basically just a river. It's just like a line of stars in the sky that make a river.
Okay.
Okay.
It's the laziest of the constellations, for sure.
It's like a line. It's like, what about that one there? It's a river.
Not that line. Yeah.
That's a different line. That line's a king. That line's a river.
They didn't have TV back then, John.
Next up, we got Cafe Cuties.
I did not know we had a Cafe Cuties.
Neither did I.
Yeah, neither.
It's very adorable.
Good food is magic, literally. In a world of elegant tea times and enchanted pastries, mages make magical macarons, craft charmed croissants, and serve up sorcerous scones to scores of customers eager to get a taste. This is Cafe Cuties Vladimir. Vladimir spent years searching for the elixir of life, only to discover that it is, in fact, tea. Since then, he has steeped himself in the art of the perfect cup, though he pretends to frequent the cafe solely to advance his tasseomancy. Vladimir has grown fond of the ragtag group that allowed him to take up residence among their ranks.
Oh, this one's
At
really
least,
cute.
yeah, at least he's not some pompous tea sucker or whatever, right? Like,
Sucks up all the tea.
Before the customers can get it.
Fun fact about this one. Everyone in this one kind of has like a creature butler or companion. Vladimir's is named Macharlie.
Oh, it's so cute.
It's matcha with the but Charlie.
It's
Very cute. It's a little matcha teacup. In the Star Guardians universe, Cafe Cuties is a thematic restaurant with more than 15 characters featured in their menu and items as part of like an in-universe fictional lore. And Viego is one of those characters, and he's trying to free his wife from a matcha imprisonment.
Oh my god.
but she wants to be in the matcha, is the
But
thing.
she wants to be in the matcha. Who
really
doesn't
likes
want to be
being
in the
in the
matcha?
Where is tea?
That was really fucking clever, can I say?
Fucking slam poetry claps over here.
I don't know how to express it. Oh, man.
Pee my pants. All right.
Next up, we got Forsaken Hymn. For years, the aspirant congregation has fought the Nevergast sect over Aspera, the breath of life.
What the fuck is this one?
You know, obviously, it all makes sense so far. Just, follow with me. To the congregation, Aspera is a gift one returns upon death to enter the afterlife. But the Nevergast, cursed with an eternal thirst for breaths, believe there is only one life and it must be lived to excess. The war rages on, with no end in sight.
Who else is in this?
We've got
other
one
people.
before. This is really new.
This one is
It's from a year ago, but
Riven was part of one, and Rakan.
gosh. Okay. I've never seen this skin in game before, or like ever.
Right?
Yeah.
I think this one might be, I don't know. This is Broken Covenant Vladimir. The ultimate Nevergast, at least to himself.
He sucks.
Jeez.
Vladimir cares only about feeding himself and his ego, though he's not above helping someone for the right price, like that idiot Rakan, who has no stake in the war beyond finding the fabled well of Aspera within the congregation. Such power, he smugly reasons, would surely be better in his hands. So fun fact about Vladimir in this one. Vladimir was the cause for Rakan's transformation into a Neverghast after Rakan stole from him. So...
I was wondering, because I definitely knew this skin existed.
Figured you might be curious about that.
So curious. Thank you.
Next up, we got Storybook. Once upon a time, there was a group of storybook characters brought to life from the page. This is Count Vladimir.
Okay.
Once upon a time, in the heart of a dark and gloomy castle, there lived an eternally youthful count who the people greatly feared. Every night, a terrible red mist would seep into the village, and some poor soul would vanish without a trace. Another life lost to Vladimir's growing appetites. Not to be confused with this next one. Tales from the Rift, Trick or Treat. You better hope you have the good stuff. You know, Piltover Pops, Strikebreaker Sours, Dark Star chocolate bars, 'cause if you don't, the kids on this block have some tricks up their sleeves. This one is Nosferatu Vladimir.
I feel like this is the one I would often play. It's just so bad.
It's not great. Look, the guy's a film buff. So what? Hemomancers can like things too.
You know what? I was going to say they didn't call him Pompous in this one, but they called him a film buff. They called him Pompous. As a film
Call him Pompous without calling him Pompous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
What is this Vandal skin? I don't think I've ever seen this ever.
Yeah, this is an old one.
Really old?
Yeah, this one's Highway Heretics Vandals. The Vandals loom large over the wasteland. They are a gang of violent thugs prone to mass destruction, brutal beatdowns, and wanton murder. But they sure have a good time doing it. This one's Vandal Vladimir. Leader of the notorious Vandals, Vladimir's exposure to residual radiation has given him control over the blood of living organisms. If he wanted to, he could cure every creature in the wasteland of disease. Instead, he rides around with his crew ransacking settlements. Priorities.
I have like a lot of the old skins because I had like the unlocked account for a bit, and I don't remember seeing this one, but
Yeah, I don't either.
But yeah, that's Vlad. Y'all
Vlad.
want some fun facts about Vlad?
I do very much.
Yeah.
Vladimir is voiced by Kevin M. Connolly.
Nice.
Bloodlord Vladimir is voiced by Gavin Hammond, who also voices Varys and pre-work Pantheon. Vladimir in Legends of Runeterra is voiced by Jason, I don't know how to pronounce this exactly, Spizak or Spizak. You may know him as Boxtopus from Legends of Runeterra, or Mage Seeker Conservator from Legends of Runeterra, or Professor Von Yip from Legends of Runeterra, or the Old Timer, or you might recognize him as Silco or Pym from Arcane.
A lot of voices there.
Yeah. They got their
Nice.
money's worth with him, man.
I just found out when I found that fact that the guy who voices Silco also voiced Pym. That is
know that.
fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah.
That's range, dude.
Right?
Yeah, right.
And for you folks at home, if you don't remember Pym specifically, he was the guy in the brothel who Vi pushed Caitlyn on. He's got one of those like, "Hi, my name's Pym" type voices. Let's see. Okay, I do have the Blood Magics fun fact in here. That is an EU West summoner for the record. That's their summoner name, and it was Riot's 2017 Polycount Creative Contest. So,
That's cool.
That's what that was. We talked about it already. Vladimir doesn't actually drink the blood of his victims. He just absorbs the life force.
Do you think he's like tried it once?
Right? And it's like, oh,
Like a
God.
little sip. Never mind.
The clot thickens.
Oh, God.
Vladimir is more than 2,500 years old, which makes him one of the oldest humans alive, thanks to hemomancy and his ability to revitalize his health and extend his lifespan.
One of. Just one of. Runeterra.
Yeah,
Vladimir was the second champion released in Season 1. The first being Xin. And finally... Oh, wait, no, not finally. He was also the only champion labeled as Mage Tank for his Legacy Champion classes. Which is surprising. I feel like there's a few who I don't know. But, I don't know. What do I know? And Vladimir is one of only 7 champions who have at least one ability that can reduce their health either as a cost or as self-inflicted damage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Vlad.
Here. This one went on a little long, but any final thoughts?
Real quick, I would really like them if they do anything with Vlad. Just have him do the single dad thing with Briar, right? I just want to see him and Briar tooling around.
That would be really good.
Yeah, that is the thing. I don't think we mentioned that. Briar does kind of consider Vlad her dad, even though she doesn't want to use that terminology. It doesn't know if she should use that terminology, but it was his blood magic that kind of made her.
Yeah. Dadimir,
The
right?
vampire that she is.
Vladimir.
Yeah. He's all about being all alone. All of a sudden, the kid shows up on your doorstep and he's got to adjust. And I think it could be sweet and fun. Yeah.
I'm imagining the trailer now.
I'm just picturing they're she's hungry and he's like, oh, let's get a bite to eat, and then smash cuts to Burger King and he's sitting there with the crown on, just stuck there at the fast food place, right?
And she's confused, wait, what?
She's running around biting people in the fucking play pit. I don't know,
oh, that would be great.
But they don't have any blood because he's already drained all the rest.
Yeah. The only other thing is that in Runeterra, he has some relation to, I think I remember with Scion, there's this weird idea of a legion that's full of reanimated corpses. They call it the Grey Legion. He seems to have some relation to the Hemomancer lady, the Lady of Blood, who's running that whole thing. But who knows if that's canon. But I'll just throw it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he has some connection to everyone who does hemomancy, because they all kind of...
Yeah.
He's the one who started that shit.
Mm-hmm. So...
Yeah. Well, that was Vlad. Thank you very much for listening. We have a Twitch, twitch.tv/loreheads. John streams on Saturdays. He does TFT. He hit Masters, by the way, in TFT. Double up with a friend of his. So if you want to watch a fucking master TFT player play TFT...
it's a new set. I've played 3 games on
Doesn't matter.
A literal master.
A literal master of this goddamn game. He'll do some dumb ass shit you tell him to do and try to make it work.
I will do that. If you come into the stream and you request something in chat,
He'll just
does not matter how dumb it is. I will try and make it. Somebody requested a Yordle only comp last set, and there's only 2 Yordles, but we made it work.
Yeah.
Also, you need some advice, want to get better at TFT, John can help you out for sure. And after TFT, he'll do ARAMs with viewers as well. I stream on Mondays. We do some Rift games together, usually the 3 of us and then another friend or 2. I think I want to start opening the streams by reading the lore for the next champion. So on Monday, this will be the day after, or the day you're hearing this episode, Monday evening, I'll be reading Volabear's lore.
Bio or all lore?
I'll see what's there, and at least the bio, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would do all of it or not.
Dig it.
We'll kind of see. Yeah. Because normally people aren't no one's ready by the time I start streaming. So I have to play some Rift games by myself, which don't usually go well. But yeah.
I'm also planning on doing some indie streams.
Oh,
the
yeah,
week.
randomly
I just
during
picked
the
up
week.
a few games that I wanted to play more of, so I'll be playing some probably Balatro and Backpack Hero for the next few weeks. So yeah.
If you ever miss those and the VODs aren't up anymore, we usually put a lot of stuff up on YouTube if you want to go to our YouTube channel. And then there's also clips of this and whatnot, and some fun parody songs that John has done. We have a Discord. You want to find some people to chat about the lore with, or play League, or post some weird memes, please join the Discord. And we have a Patreon. As we said, we had the reaction to the Ionia versus Noxus. Everything is $5 a month for all patrons, all bonus content. We'll at least have something up once a month. We try to do one or two things, but at least one thing.
I have not been able to shut down the $10 tier yet since people are subscribed to it.
Okay, please don't subscribe to the $10 tier.
Yeah,
it's nothing now.
Yeah, just
Just
you
do
don't
$5.
need to do that. Just do the $5, please.
I'll also just now very soon be editing all of our our impressions video, which I accidentally got insanely high for. We did impressions of all the champions that we missed, so A through F, up and through Fiddlesticks, I believe.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
Aatrox
fun.
to Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, Aatrox to Fiddlesticks, basically. We just, one after another, banged out the impressions. They were
That's
all
how you
really
build
good,
them.
I'm sure.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons, King of Hearts, Mr. Dead, and John Has a Dig Bick. If you were all Vladimir type humomancers who lived forever but couldn't remember anything, I would make sure that I wrote you the best biography ever or painted the best picture of you ever so that you could remember your greatness forever.
Beautiful. He'd use real orphan tears, too.
I would use real orphan tears. I wouldn't use them in the painting because I'm not good at painting, but I would collect them.
Just splash them on like whatever it is.
Sprinkle them all,
I don't know.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, anyway, please be sure to join us next week as we talk about the relentless storm Volibear.